All right, we are back with another Pick'em video. It is Wednesday, February 26th in the NBA. We have a decent sized slate once again, and yesterday was what I'm talking about for some good NBA. We had awesome games. We had guys that are playing like they're supposed to. The other day that we talked about the weirdness in the NBA. Yesterday is what I expect, and that's what I'm coming to expect over the next few weeks as these teams really start to get into a rhythm and push for playoff spots. And then at the same time, teams that are bad, they're going to be resting guys. They're going to be giving guys other opportunities. So we're going to be looking for, edges where guys are getting maybe more minutes or potential for less minutes in blowout situations like that. So overall, a pretty solid day. Definitely a really good day in the Discord community. But we talked about 3 plays in the videos. We went 2 and 1. We're going to break those down. The only one we missed, including the leans that we missed, were because of blowout situations or because of injury news that came out later in the day. So we're just going to go over the recap. We're going to talk about the injury news and the teams on a back-to-back, and then we will hop into the plays. Very excited and confident with how the games went yesterday to see that kind of happen more and more often throughout the rest of the year, honestly. So if you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe, leave the video a like, comment something down below. It does tell YouTube to push this video out a little bit more when you do that. And let's just get right into things. All right, so I just actually went ahead and recorded the next part of the video talking about the recap, talking about the Discord success we had yesterday, and then talking about the injury news back-to-backs and the injuries for today. And we end up going to the 13-minute mark, which is not normal around here. But if you enjoy that, definitely go ahead and watch it. It's great information. But if that bores you, it's the 13-minute mark where we actually start talking about some plays. Maybe if you go there and then come back to watch the other stuff, it is important stuff. That's why I talked about it. But just want to point that out. All right, so real quick, going over the recap of yesterday's picks like we always do. We had Derek White over 23.5 PRA. We said he could score 24 points alone. He almost did that, and he crushed that PRA. Very easy over for us. Jose Alvarado, how about 3 minutes played in the first quarter? Ended with 4 rebounds and 1 assist. I kid you not. Then ended up riding the bench for a very long time. Ended up getting over there near the end of the game. He killed it in the fourth quarter to get 9 rebounds, assists. So I love to see that. And then the birthday boy was the only guy that came up short for us. 9.5 rebounds and assists. Had 4 rebounds in that first quarter in 7 minutes of play. Only ended up playing 25 minutes. He was expected to play 32 or something. Didn't play the fourth quarter at all. Played 30 seconds if you want to count that, but didn't play the fourth quarter at all in a blowout situation. So I'm okay taking a loss there. I think he ended with 7 rebounds and assists. If he plays the fourth quarter, I think we're looking pretty good there, especially in the chaos of the fourth quarter. That was our one miss. Brook Lopez was another lean we talked about. He cashed his points. And then for a plus money play, lean here again, not an official pick, but a lean. Thompson under 4.5 assists. That was, again, we were rolling the dice. Is Fred VanVleet going to play? Looking like he's coming off the injury report. He ends up not playing. Once I saw him ruled out, I said, avoid that play. He ended up getting a 6 assist there. So pretty solid reads in terms of the video picks. I do love to see. And then in terms of the Discord community right here, we went off. We had 18 plus units yesterday made. We had a Betr slip that we hit for a 20x. I'm limited to $10 on Betr using these discounts. They give us discounts every single day. So this is something that you'll see in my Discord community. I always send out a Betr slip. I always send out at least 1 slip for most of the DFS platforms that I'm partnered with. Kyrie Irving discount, we'll take that. He ended up with 32 points. Hit all these other ones as well. If you're a straight better, I do like to add more straight bets as well. You'll see that in the research breakdowns tab. But also, any of these plays that you see in here, you can go ahead and take those on straight bets. So it's not just DFS in here anymore. We do focus a lot on the DFS because I like the big reward, low risk type of plays. We put $10 and turn it into $200. And again, not like we're doing that every day, but 2 times a month, that can definitely happen for us. And then similarly, another discount play, we got Luka for 0.5 points on Underdog. They give us a profit boost, sometimes 60% profit boost, or some sort of discount or gimme pick every single day. So definitely go ahead and check out Betr and Underdog. And when you do so, use code RichPicks. It's the same for Betr and Underdog. Code RichPicks when signing up for Betr. They're going to match your first play up to $250. So if you put $250 in, you put a $250 parlay down. Even if you lose, it goes right back into your account, which is pretty sweet. You don't have to do it $250. You can do $10 if you wanted to. Doesn't matter to me, but just use code RichPicks. That's going to get you a free month to my Discord community. You'll be able to tail my Betr slips or other people's Betr slips in there. And then also same thing for Underdog. They do a deposit match. I think it's a 50% deposit match all the way up to $1,000. Again, take that as much as you want. You could put $100 in, you could put $10 in, you could put $1,000 in. You're going to get some sort of match there which is a pretty sweet deal. And then again, a free month in my Discord community where you can tail all our Underdog slips. And again, it's not just me in the community, it's a whole bunch of other people. We got some seasoned chefs in there. But yeah, we really do kill these things. I just went ahead and checked, and we're actually up 41.5 units in the month of February, and we were up 93.2 units in the month of January. So yes, very, very good months, but at the same time, we are very consistent at being at least profitable from a month-to-month basis with potential for these monster months. And that's because of the way that we bet. We're going for plus money plays, meaning the risk is low. We'll bet our 1 unit and trying to win 15, 20, 10 units, whatever it might be. And it works out pretty well. You have to be a little bit more hard-headed because you're not going to win every single day. But when you lose, you're going to lose like 2 units, 3 units. And when you win, you can have these monster days like we did yesterday where we went up 18 units. So that's the way that I mostly bet. Straight betting is awesome too if you want to be more consistently right around your bankroll. And that's something that I've definitely messed around with more, especially as I've transferred the types of plays that I give out for you guys as more straight bets rather than here's the best PrizePicks plays on the board. But with that in the same breath, I really don't even use PrizePicks plays as those normal points lines, those normal rebounds lines. You're going to see it much more like this Underdog slip, lower than 3.5 free throws made, first quarter PRA. These are the niche type plays on Underdog, on PrizePicks that I really attack. I almost barely ever use like normal plays on these different types of platforms, and it's been really, really successful since we switched up that the routine on that. And yeah, I think that's where you get the edges on these types of platforms. But for the other ones, for straight bettors and all those different things, we're also getting a really good edge, really diving into these matchups. So we've been killing it. I just had to do a little tangent there. Definitely check out PrizePicks, Underdog, Betr, any of the links down below in the description. You're going to get some sort of new user deposit match using my code. It's RichPicks on a lot of them. Some it's just Rich, and then some, I think one of them is like Rich DFS. But you absolutely take advantage of those promotions. Get a free month in my Discord. You can come check us out. If you hate us, you can go right out the door. It doesn't matter to me. Just sign up using my code. It's a great way to support the channel. It's a great way to get in for a free month. We have a great community. It's one of the cheapest in the industry too, I think. Once you run out of free months, there's like 7 free months you could get. But once you run out of free ones, you are only paying $20 a month, which again, industry standards, that's very, very low, especially the fact that you're getting the community on top of it. So we've been killing it. A little bit of a tangent there. Sorry about that. But let's get into the back-to-back news, injury news, and then we'll get to some actual plays here. All right, so teams on a back-to-back. We got the Celtics, the Rockets, the Spurs, and the Raptors. Those are the 4 teams on back-to-backs. Let's hop into some injury news here. We'll start with the Boston Celtics. Drew Holiday didn't play yesterday. Porzingis didn't play yesterday. Al Horford didn't play yesterday. All these guys are game-time decisions. Luke Cornett as well. Tough to kind of know if that's a lingering issue that they're dealing with or if they were kind of just resting on the first half of back-to-back. Detroit, obviously a better team than the Raptors at this point, and that could be, we could see a fully healthy Celtics team. But as of right now, Porzingis is, looks like very likely to play, returning to action. Yeah, so he's ready to go. Confirmed, he's ready to go. So he's in the lineup. Yep, there goes the injury. Yeah, looks like I just had to refresh the page. So Drew Holiday now is probable. Al Horford and Porzingis off the injury report. I'm not seeing Tatum or Brown or White yet, so they should be fully healthy against this Detroit team. They are on a back-to-back, so if something flares up during warm-ups, just keep that in mind. For Detroit, though, Fontecchio and Ivy, they're out. Schroeder's going to be a game-time decision. Nothing too crazy there with Jaden Ivey being out for a while. For Toronto, Jakob Poeltl's game-time decision. They're also on a back-to-back. Poeltl didn't play yesterday against the Celtics. Brandon Ingram, PJ Tucker still out. But again, another team on a back-to-back. Keep in mind, if something flares up during warm-ups, someone could be a late scratch for that team. Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton's going to be a game-time decision with that groin injury. He hasn't missed a lot of games. I think he's only missed 1 game this year. And then TJ McConnell, I think he left a game the other day. So 2 of their guards being game-time decisions, definitely something to look at. For Philadelphia, Quentin Grimes is going to be a probable tag here. Embiid is the big news. He is not playing again. Yabusele is out again. Eric Gordon, I think, is done for the year. Kyle Lowry is going to be out. I don't know why. I think he's done for the year. And then Grimes, going to be the only probable tag. So we've seen this a whole bunch of times. They get the New York Knicks. It's a 10.5-point spread. Keep that in mind. Towns is going to be a game-time decision here. OG Anunoby, a probable tag. Mitchell Robinson continues to be out, but he should be returning eventually in the next few weeks, I would expect. For Portland here, we got still no Ayton, still no Rob Will. We got Klingan versus the Washington Wizards. That makes me want to look at Klingan's rebounds specifically because he's got a weak matchup. And Ayton and Rob Williams out. How many projected minutes for him? 25 again. That's kind of what we've been accustomed to, but maybe like a Deni Avdija, Tumani Kamara could be a better look. This is a 6.5-point spread. Could be a great day to go some overs on for Portland side of things. And then Alex Sarr, game-time decision for the Washington Wizards. Saddiq Bey, Brogdon. The projected minutes for this team is probably really weird still. Chris Middleton, 26 minutes. Poole's going to be getting 30. Bilal's always a good guy to look at when he's getting 32 minutes. He gets a ton of time. Marcus Smart down to 20 minutes per game for this team. Just a weird team. Atlanta, we got Trae Young, game time decision, but probable Vit Krejci and Larry Nance still out. Tyler, for the Miami Heat, I don't know why I mentioned Tyler here, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and Kalal Ware, game time decisions. Bam Adebayo, the true game time decision there. What's going on with this man? Looks like he's questionable with a right calf contusion. So just keep an eye out for him. Obviously, against Atlanta, this could be a great matchup for a lot of these guys. But we also just saw these guys play, and it was the worst game I think I've ever seen. They scored 86 points, the Miami Heat did, and Atlanta didn't do much better. They scored like 96 or something. 2.5 point spread, maybe a little bit better here, while the game being hosted in Miami. For OKC and Brooklyn, no news for OKC. Chet Holmgren should be back in the lineup. AJ Mitchell has been out for the last few games. Brooklyn, we got Cam Johnson, game time decision. Cam Thomas still out. D'Lo still out. Clowney is still out. Claxton, I think, is suspended because he got another flagrant foul or something. So definitely want to be looking at the minutes here. If Cam Johnson sits, it's going to be a huge usage game for probably Zaire Williams, Keon Johnson. They've been pretty good, too. They haven't even been horrible. Jalen Wilson, Trenton Watford has been like a winner on this team. Whenever he plays, they feel like they win. So yeah, definitely look at this, especially if Cam Johnson sits. Ton of usage for a lot of these guys, but it's a 17-point spread, so just keep that in mind as well. So maybe look at some bench guys that won't, are kind of blow-up proof. For the Clippers, we got Norman Powell still out, so Storm and Norman is going to be out for this game. Looks like we got 38 minutes of James Harden to expect. Kawhi Leonard's in this one, projected for 31 minutes, so that's awesome to see. Ben Simmons not on the injury report against Chicago. Could be some good plays there without Norman, some more usage boosts. On the Chicago side of things, Zach Collins is going to be the starter here without Vucevic. Looks like he's a doubtful tag. Jalen Smith, not Jabari, is still out. Patrick Williams still out. I'd assume a game time decision. So again, we always look at Josh Giddey when I would assume who sits. But Kevin Huerter and Zach Collins looks like they'll be in the starting lineup, probable and ready to go. For the Sacramento Kings, Keon Ellis is the only one out there. He's actually been getting a decent amount of minutes. If he does play, he's expected for 23 minutes. Just keep an eye on him. They're otherwise healthy. Utah Jazz, Walker Kessler is going to be a game time decision here. No John Collins, no Lauri Markkanen, no Colin Sexton. So yeah, we've seen this team have a ton of injuries against the Sacramento Kings. You got to expect probably Collier to be in a good spot to get some assists. It's probably going to come out 8.5. We didn't play much in the last game. So just a weird team to cap. Keontae George has been pretty good as well. 30 minutes projected off the bench here. For Sacramento, or for San Antonio, Chris Bassey is still, Charles Bassey, still as a game time decision. He's been out for the last few games and not a huge rotation player anyway. And then Van Vliet still out for the next 2 games, I think, and Cody Zeller for the Houston Rockets. So that is the injury report. Kind of a longer one, kind of a longer intro. I apologize if you're new around here. We don't typically go 13 minutes or whatever we're at right now, 12 minutes before we actually start talking about some plays. But the injury report is important. You don't want to be betting on players that are going to be influenced by other players being out or playing or something like that. So that's the injury report. Let's get into some actual plays now. All right, so finally, let's jump into some plays here. We're going to be using a tool called Props Madness like we do each and every video. If you're watching this video and you're like, I freaking have to try that thing out, it is awesome. What you probably will, you're going to use the link in the description down below. Use code RICH. You're going to get a free week trial, and then you're going to get 25% off your first month or your first year on your purchase with the app. It's awesome. Check it out for sure, and we're going to let the video do the talking for us. We're going to start off with Deni Avdija here. Now, I went back and forth. I like his rebound potential. I like his points and rebounds potential. And let's talk about the storyline first off. He's playing the Wizards in Washington, the first time he's going to be returning to Washington. Spent the whole beginning of his career in Washington. Now, again, Wizards are a poverty franchise, but the few fans that do come to the game, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I remember Deni Avdija. He played for us for 4 or 5 years. And I think Deni's going to have a pretty good game here. He's got a great game, or a great potential to score the ball. Spot up, transition, free throws, whatever you want to look at. He's pretty good in terms of his mediocrity in terms of the season shot chart. This is the Wizards. Their defensive rating is the worst in the league. They give up a lot of rebounds. They give up a lot of assists. This is a good spot to just look at, honestly, Deni Avdija in any aspect, whether it's fantasy score, because he's been getting blocks and steals. But yeah, I like Deni in a storyline, rematch against his old team. It's a good spot for him. He played for them last year. Now he's going to be returning here. So Deni Avdija over 25.5 points and rebounds is a good way to look at it. You could also just look at his rebounds. This is plus money on 7.5. A lot of books have this at 6.5 juiced. PrizePicks that's sitting at 7.0 exactly. So however you want to play that, I think he's in a good spot for that. But you're looking at these charts and you're like, why the heck are you looking at Deni Avdija anyway? Just because of the storyline? No, it's because there's a few injury newses here, and he's projected to play 35 minutes in this game, coming off a game where he played 36 minutes. Game before that, he played 23 minutes in a 53-point blowout versus Charlotte. And then before that, his minutes were kind of dropping off, but the kind of right back on track here. So I'm not worried about that. And then you consider the fact that two big men are out for this game. Klingan, another guy that I'm looking at as rebounds, he can't play the whole game. So taking out Robert Williams and DeAndre Ayton still doesn't look too good. Let's look at the points and rebounds line. Still doesn't look amazing in terms of hit rate, but it's projected for 35 minutes, which I'll show you in a second. Let's go to 32 to 38 minutes. We'll give 3 minutes on each side. Why am I saying he's projected for 35 minutes? Because RotoWire is usually right on top of these things, especially with the injury news. He's expected here for 35 minutes. And again, we saw him play 36 minutes just last game. And he's not a guy that doesn't play a whole bunch of time, especially considering injuries. So without these guys, he's gone over this in 2 of 2 games. So, 50% hit rate still. But the 2 games he missed, it was against Charlotte, so maybe a bad game there. Didn't shoot a whole bunch of times, only shot 6 field goals in that game. And then against the Rockets, who are a very good defensive team. Went over against the Heat, went over against the Jazz. Now you get literally the worst defensive ranking in the entire league, who give up the most rebounds, and it's a storyline where you're coming back and playing for your old home crowd. Probably about 4 guys in the stands, but they're going to remember Deni for sure. So this is a good spot for him. Really weak matchup. 50% hit rate, including, this Rockets team didn't get there, but this Hornets team maybe didn't get there, but didn't shoot a whole bunch. I think that's more of an outlier. But yeah, the rebounds line's another really good one to look at. You could look at plus money for maybe a double-double here. Could be another good way to play Deni. But I just like Deni in a lot of spots. I can't make his chart look all too amazing. If we just take out these guys, it does look pretty good. Just 32 to 38 minutes, just considering the minutes, even with Robert Williams or Ayton in the lineup. So this looks really good. 66% of the time he's going over this rebounds line. Points and rebounds line, still a 53% hit rate when seeing that much time. And a lot of these misses coming out earlier in the year. Now, the Blazers maybe trying to make a play-in push, but they've been seeing a whole lot more. Deni, he's a pretty good player, and I think a lot of things going in the right direction for Avdija to get some good points against his old team, get some rebounds. You could throw in some assists as well. The assist numbers aren't bad either, so like PRA is another good way to look at it, maybe even a better hit rate for PRA. Maybe that's the way to play this. But I just think Deni is a really good option. However you play him, you can look at blocks and steals. He's able to do that. If you're on a DFS platform like PrizePicks or Underdog, fantasy score is going to be a great way to look at him. But yeah, PRA, definitely has the best hit rate here. I don't mind his potential to get some assists, especially against his Wizards team. I love his rebounding potential, even if you want to flirt with maybe 8+ rebounds, even 10+ rebounds, I think is not anything too crazy here. And then, of course, his scoring because of going up against the Wizards, his old team. I think I want to chip in that. So I was honestly looking at points and rebounds. I might just land at PRA, 29.5 for a guy like Deni Avdija. I like the storyline. I like the play. Moving along to the next play here, it's going to be Thompson for the Houston Rockets, and it's going to be his 8.5 rebounds line here. It is juiced at -140, but I'm going to talk through this a whole lot, and you can decide what you want to do. I like his rebounds. I like his scoring potential in this matchup, going up against a weak interior defense. Remember, no Wembanyama on this team anymore. Weak in transition, too. That's where he scores a lot of his buckets. His rebounds, obviously, is awesome, but again, it's a little bit more juiced. Another way you could play this is a double-double for +105 right now on FanDuel, or otherwise a pretty good value play here, -110 on a lot of these books. So 8.5 rebounds, double-double, points and rebounds, combo line. I like that one as well. I think Thompson's in a pretty good spot here. Now let's first talk through this. The minutes. He's been getting a ton of minutes, even with Jabari Smith Jr. back in the lineup. 34, 37, and 40 minutes. So I'm going to bump this up to 34 to 42 minutes. He is projected for 38 minutes in this game, a guy that plays a ton. He's an energizer dude. He's a young dude. He goes up and down the court in transition, one of the fastest dudes in the NBA. We're going to see 2 of the fastest guys with him and De'Aaron Fox going up against each other. So 34 to 42 minutes. His points and rebounds hit rate, 69% of games. You can see the rebounds line. Definitely a couple games here that he's getting 9, but a lot of these games, up in the double digits in terms of rebounds. And then his scoring also really good, 75% hit rate, albeit the last few games it's kind of been hit or miss, but he's pretty consistent at hitting this line as well. Now let's go why I like the double-double, why I like the combo line, whatever it might be, the points and rebounds line. Let's go to games that he's playing with Jabari Smith Jr. in this much time, and he plays really, really well with him in the lineup. 81.8% hit rate in the points and rebounds department over that 25.5 points and rebounds. That could be the play, honestly, here, just because the hit rate's awesome here. But yeah, with Jabari Smith Jr. lineup with this many minutes, he's literally over this in 9 of 11 games, coming off a dud against Milwaukee. I expect him to kind of get right back on track. Last time he missed was against Minnesota, and he caught right back to very, very consistent. It's not that this isn't going up and down graph. This is a very straight graph. So I'm in Thompson, points and rebounds department. I'm liking that spot for him. His rebounds here, also 72.7% hit rate, really, really good. Couple of these, getting 10 plus rebounds. And then the points department, also really, really good hit rate, 81.8%. So I'm liking this a lot. You can go to the points and rebounds. That's probably the best way to do it. You could do the rebounds in terms of, the minus 140 play. But maybe honestly, I'm talking myself into the points and rebounds line. You're going to get better value here. You could look at the double-double for some plus money, but I do like Thompson. I don't mind the matchup at all. Transition, points in the paint, Wembanyama not there anymore. If you look at rebounds also, 60% of the similar types of players, including Thompson himself, have been going over their lines. So I like to see that as well. October Thompson is not the same as February Thompson. He's a dude that wasn't getting much time. And, the two matchup he went over, the most recent one, this was February 21st. Oh, that's Oscar Thompson. I was like, when did he play him? So his brother went over his rebounds line too. So I like to see that. Yeah, he's been going over consistently with Jabari Smith Jr. He's been getting the time. Hopefully this isn't a blowout. Maybe points and rebounds for the best value here. If you want to be a little bit safer and don't care about paying the juice, 8.5 rebounds is probably the best play here in terms of what I expect to hit. But in terms of the actual play, points and rebounds at 25.5. I do like that potential. I like his potential to score. I like his potential here to rebound. And if you want to get a little plus money in there, a double-double is not a bad look either. Move along to the next play here, and it's going to be the final official pick. I do have a couple leans that I'll quickly go through, but Dyson Daniels over 5.5 rebounds at minus 115 on DraftKings. Absolutely loving this play. So first of all, 55% hit rate, but let's see what's happening without Jalen Johnson lineup. He's missing the rest of the year. And we can see the hit rate on this has been a lot higher. And you can see, if you look deeper, the rebound chances that he's getting are much, much higher. There's been a switch in this, Hawks game plan. Dyson Daniels crashing the boards much, much harder. So I like to see, even though he wasn't hitting in the beginning of the year without Jalen Johnson in some of these games, his rebound chances are skyrocketing and just continuing to go up almost, it looks like. And he's been rebounding the ball extremely well, averaging 10.5 rebound chances in the last, however many games this is, 21 games without Jalen Johnson. If you want to look at the last 15 games or whatever, and just get rid of those kind of outliers where he's starting to make this switch and crashing the boards a lot harder. Now he's over at 11 to 14 games without Jalen Johnson on the court, and the rebound chances averaging 11.6. So I love to see that. If you want to just look at the entire season, or let's look at like the last 30 games or so, and we can take a look at his rebound chances. All right, if he's going to get 11 on average, let's go to like 9 to 13 rebound chances. Now he's over this in 68% of games. I love to see that. Take away Jalen Johnson once again, and we just saw this graph over an 8-11 game. So really liking his potential here. If you can't find this at 5.5, or if it's really heavily juiced at 5.5 at a lot of these other books, look at his rebounds and assists, because I also like this at 9.5 on DraftKings, which is awesome. A couple other books, 10 on PrizePicks. Other books have this at 10.5 for plus money in a lot of books. So I don't even mind it there. Probably the best way to play it, obviously, is 9.5 on DraftKings right now, but rebounds and assists, he's also been crushing. Actually, a little bit of a better hit rate. Now, the potential assists have been a little bit more up and down, and his assist numbers have been a little bit more up and down, but his assist numbers at 3.5 juiced, they're expecting probably 4. That's typically what he gets. The rebounds and assist line also really good. I didn't even see this was at 9.5. That might even be a better play to play this. But really liking his change in the game plan of him crashing the boards, whether that's other guys boxing out. Onyeka maybe a little bit better of a box out than Clint Capella. Dyson Daniels now the main rebounder almost on this team. He's been crashing them. He's been getting them. And I like his potential for assists here. Either rebounds and assists or rebounds. Either way you want to play it. Dyson's been a wagon here without Jalen Johnson. And it seems like those chances just keep going up and up. And then in terms of the matchup here, the head-to-head matchup, these guys played the 2 days ago, so that was the last matchup they had. He had 11 rebounds. Now that was an absolute brick fest, so I don't know if we can expect that many rebounds once again. And then his assists, again, brick fest, only 2 in this one. But similar types of players are, I guess, by position here, over in 10 to 15 in terms of their assist lines, not including Dyson Daniels himself. But again, that was just a wacky game. And then in terms of rebounding, you can see 3 of the last 5 similar types of players to Dyson Daniel in terms of his rebounding have been going over against this same team. So in terms of the matchup, I think it's more mediocre. It's not the best matchup in the world. You can see where he gets assists, literally all yellow. So more of a mediocre matchup, but I'm really, attacking the minutes here, the rebound chances, the assist potential, and that's the main reason here. So it's not more of a matchup play. It's more of a minutes and opportunity play here for Daniels. And then I know I said I was going to talk about my leans, but I actually have one more official video pick, so we're going to get 4 on the board today, and it's going to be Isaiah Joe for the Oklahoma City Thunder going up against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, why do I like this? 58% of his threes come from above the break, and the Nets are really good at locking that down, 5th in terms of that. But 15% from the left corner, 7% of his shots come from the right corner, 22% of his shots come from the corner. He's really a guy that's just going to launch threes. And if they know the corners are weak, I assume the game plan for the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially coming off a heartbreaking loss to the Timberwolves where they shouldn't have lost. They gave up a 25-point lead. I think they're going to be looking at this game plan and saying, our corners are going to be open, and Isaiah Joe might be a guy that they look at here. So I like to see that, obviously. The above the break threes I wish was a little bit better, but spot up shooting, 25th ranked, transition, 25th ranked. This is a great spot for Isaiah Joe to score the ball, which is what we saw in a 26-point victory from them back in January, where he had 24 points on 8 of 10 shooting from 3. We don't need 8 threes, Isaiah. We just need 3, honestly, to get over the 7.5 line. So I'm liking this spot for him. In terms of games, the blowout situation here, 17-point spread. If they're going to win by a whole bunch of points, even 15 plus, now it's a 66% hit rate. They're going to blow these guys out of the water again, 78% hit rate. He's going to get some threes. He's going to have to knock them down. This Brooklyn team's dealing with a whole bunch of injuries, but again, they have been locked in defensively. They've been one of the best defensive teams in the league, but they've been shutting down those above the break threes. I think Isaiah Joe just got to hunt in the corner, to camp out there like PJ Tucker in his prime, and knock down some corner threes for us to get over the 7.5 line. And if you get a dunk in transition or something, I like that too. Another thing to note is similar types of players. 6 of 9 players have gone over this, including Isaiah Joe himself, obviously, but Malik Beasley, Grady Dick, Dick twice, and then Caldwell Pope. Dick and Pope always going over their lines against this team. But yeah, good to see that similar types of players also have pretty good success here. I'm hoping for a blowout. I hope the OKC Thunder come off mad. I think they're they're going to be a little frustrated after giving up a 25-point lead to Timberwolves and then losing in overtime. Maybe they come out, give their best stuff, and we see them dominate these guys. And that just means more minutes for our boy Joe. And then before we jump quickly into the leans that we're going to talk about, it's not Jordan Poole, don't worry. I do just want to remind everyone, if you got to this point in the video, definitely go ahead and leave a video like. It does go a long way. Comment something down below if you have an extra second or two. I love reading those comments. And then, of course, subscribe if you are new and you like my breakdowns. I really appreciate that. So let's get into some leans here. I'm going to rapid fire through these. This is going to be one lean that I got, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the same game. We just talked about the blowout potential here, but 40.5 PRA. He's going to be playing with Chet Holmgren in the lineup. He's under this in 10 of 15 games. Then you add on the blowout potential. You also add that this isn't an amazing matchup for a guy that does a lot of his damage in pick and roll ball handling. Yes, they're weak at the rim, but that's pretty much the only weakness they have in terms of defending this team, defending a guy like Shai. So in a 2-16 game total, 40.5 PRA might be a little bit harder to come by, and especially if they're going to blow these guys out of the water. Chet Holmgren in the lineup, 40.5 PRA just seems maybe a little bit too high for our guy Shai. It's going to be sweaty because he's going to get close to it, but hopefully they can do their damage early and we don't see Shai in the fourth quarter. That's kind of why I like this one. And then kind of similar to the Isaiah Joe play here, I'm looking at Jalen Wilson on the other side of the court. Again, if this is going to be a blowout, a lot of plays going to be going in here to see if this is going to be a blowout. But even beside the blowout, but we're going to look at that in a second in terms of the graph. But spot up shooting for Jalen Wilson is main bread and butter. 36% of those. 11 of 15 similar types of players have gone over this line against this Thunder team. And again, if they're going to lose by a whole bunch of points, games they're losing by 15 plus. Really, once it gets to 17, if this is going to be a 20-point game, that's when you start to see a little bit of uptick in minutes. 6 of 8 in terms of games they've lost by a whole bunch. Jalen Wilson, definitely a blowout-proof type of player. And then in terms of what he's been doing lately, hasn't been hitting this, but the Nets have been pretty good. Now they're dealing with all these injuries. No Cam Thomas. Cam Johnson might be out. Dennis Schroeder's a game-time decision. No D'Lo. No Claxton. No Clowney. They could get absolutely crushed by this OKC team, especially, again, maybe I'm looking a little bit too far into it. The Thunder coming off a loss, and hopefully we see a little bit more Jalen Wilson. Hopefully we see a little bit more Isaiah Joe and a little bit less Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So spot up's great for him. Similar types of players hitting this line. I could go more into the graph, but this is a lean at the end of the day. I'm really just looking at blowout potential and him getting the time. 66% of games in these blowouts, he's going over it. Just needs to knock down some threes. Another guy that shoots from the corners a little bit, and spot up, free throws, put back, however he wants to get them. I like this 8.5 points line as a lean for Jalen Wilson too. And then the last lean would be Josh Giddey. Now the big news here is Ayo Dosunmu going to play or not? Game time decision for Ayo. If he doesn't play and we don't see Ayo in the lineup, We can see the hit rate is absolutely awesome, and it's been monster games over this. We went to him a few days ago, so I'm not going to go super in depth on this breakdown. And again, it's a lean here, but Josh Giddey, if I would assume is ruled out, I'm going to run to the board and take Giddey over 14.5 rebounds and assists, especially considering this hit rate. But also, he went up against this team. This is a game without Io and without Kobe White. No Vucevic potentially going to add to his rebound potential. He went over against this Clippers team. It is a 9-point spread, but hopefully they can keep it close. If they're playing and it's a 9-point game in the fourth quarter, Giddey should still be out there. And he's a guy that definitely takes advantage of his opportunities. His minutes have been high. His usage has been high. I think he can get some dimes. I think he can rebound well for sure. That's been one of the main things that kind of carry this line sometimes, but he's also a guy that can drop some dimes and get double-digit assists. I like Giddey, maybe triple-double threat potentially today. It is a little bit of a tougher matchup in terms of this Clippers team. They don't have Norman Powell, but they're getting Kawhi back. This is why it's a lean. If Io doesn't play, I like his potential for rebounds and assists. We saw him do it against this team already, but if Io does play, I'd steer clear of it. All right, so that's going to do it for this one. Sorry for a longer video. I think we're up over 30 minutes here, but real quick recap of what we talked about. Deni Avdija over his 29.5 PRA. You could play it any line, honestly. I really like his rebounding potential. I really like his scoring potential against his old team. We broke it all down, but 29.5 PRA, that'll be the official video pick here. Thompson over his 8.5 rebounds. If that's too juiced for you, go to his 25.5 points and rebounds, or you can mess around with his double-double potential in this one. Isaiah Joe was one we found kind of at the 7th hour, the 9th hour, whatever that saying is, over 7.5 points, hoping the OKC Thunder take care of business early and we see a whole lot more of Isaiah Joe, and hopefully camps in those corners, can knock down some threes for us. 8 threes against this Brooklyn Nets team last time they played. And then the other play we got was Dyson Daniels over his 5.5 boards or over his 9.5 rebounds, which is available on DraftKings right now. If you see it at 10 on PrizePicks, I'd take it. If you see it at 10.5, you got to make sure you're getting some very good value at 10.5. But again, his rebounds line, the most likely to hit here, I think. His rebound chances have been sky high without Jalen Johnson, and they just kind of continue to tick up. So those are the 4 plays. We did talk about a couple other leans as well, but go out and watch the video if you missed those. And thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, leave the video a like, all those different types of things. And definitely check out the links in the description if you want to get access to my Discord community. There's a step-by-step process and also plenty of different ways to get in for free, signing up to any of the DFS platforms I partner with using my code. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.